Good afternoon. DeShanna Neal will now be presenting Listening with Your Heart. Although we haven't met in person until just about an hour ago, I've had the delightful privilege of knowing DeShanna for several years as a Facebook friend and as a fellow member for a community for people who are parenting transgender and gender nonconforming children. DeShanna is a mother of 4 from Wilmington, Delaware. Her oldest child, Trinity, is a transgender teen who transitioned a decade ago. DeShanna considers herself an accidental advocate who speaks out for the LGBTQ community with a focus on uplifting the voices of LGBTQ people of color. I've seen firsthand that DeShanna is a fierce mama bear who has fought hard for her daughter's right to education, medical care, insurance, and to live in a world that is safe for her and that accepts her for who she is. Her tireless advocacy has made a measurable difference for transgender children in Delaware. Please welcome DeShanna Neal.
I rushed to get here. Thank you for having me. I think I have just a picture. Not sure how. There we go. Yay. So, I am a mom of 4. This is my oldest child, Trinity. Now, before I get started telling you our story, I have a question. How do you feel? Anyone want to answer? How do you feel right now? Right now. So what I just heard, if I just listened, was good, awesome. But if I listened with my heart, then I feel positive energy. And there's a difference. We listen to children when they tell us they're hungry, they're tired, they want to go play. But we tend to forget when children speak to us, we need to also listen with our hearts. Simply because sometimes a child will say something that has a bigger meaning. My daughter did not speak right away. And by the time she was 3, she was in a speech therapy learning facility, and they would do this weird exercise with her, which I don't understand how it dealt with speech, where they would ask her her name, her age, and if she were a boy or a girl. I have a problem with gendered topics in a preschool, but this is part of a test that they give these little 3-year-olds. And she would say her name, she would say her age, but she would then say, I'm a girl. And my husband and I would get letters, you need to fix your child. We didn't know what was happening. There was nothing we could find online. I mean, this was MySpace days, I'm telling you. But as we watched our child, we watched her die. She stopped speaking. She stopped responding to her name. I have this picture that I keep in a box so she doesn't see it, that her preschool teacher took of her, standing at a table by herself, with her back turned to the teacher. And she was drawing a picture of a sad face. I literally was watching my child die. And I had a second child at the time. My older 2 are 17 months apart. They're pretty much twins. And he was actually acting out. He was violent, and he wanted to protect his older sibling, but he didn't have the words. He was 2. What was happening? I kept hearing adults telling me, oh, you need to beat it out of the child. Oh, you're around your kid too much. To my husband, you just need to be more of a man. To what my husband said, well, then why is the other one saying he's a boy? But no one told me what to do. There weren't books. And all I heard was, fix your child. But she was saying, I'm a girl, and I wasn't listening. It took a therapist who had never worked with children, by the way. She worked with teens and adults who were trans, but never a child. There was nothing in Delaware. And we tried gender neutral. We thought that would work. It didn't. In fact, my child, one night as I was putting her to bed, asked me, do you think it would be better if I didn't wake up? This was at 3.5 years of age. I didn't hear that, though. I just was like, oh, you know, life is stressful. I get it. I came at this as an adult perspective, and I wasn't listening. And things got progressively worse. Finally, my husband and I, we went back to that therapist. We didn't even make an appointment. We shipped our 2 children off to school, and we ran to her office. And we begged her to help us. And she gave the advice that I have kept and that I give new parents. Do you want a happy little girl or a dead little boy? And we went shopping. That picture you see right here was the very first outfit we bought her. And we put it on her bed. You know how when you find out what you're having and you go shopping, you lay out all the baby clothes? I got to do that a second time, but I was scared to death. I wasn't sure if this was what was happening. There were no words for this. In fact, it was still being considered gender identity disorder. But then she came home quiet. And my husband was like, wait, what do we call her? We need a name. And I realized we'll use her middle name, which was Trinity. Interesting. And we were like, hey, Trinity, how was your day? And she, for the first time in months, looked at us and smiled. It was small, but it was that smile of, wait a minute, do they hear me? And we told her we had a surprise. And of course, we had a toy for our other child, because heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. And he got a truck. It's what he wanted. He was happy. She didn't come out of the room right away. And I honestly was like, oh, no, I'm wrong. I'm going to lose my child. But then she came out with that smile. And I realized, this is who you are, and you've been telling me all along. And I had to listen not with my ears anymore. I had to listen with my heart. As you can see, this is Trinity now. 10 years later. She is 14 years old. She is thriving. She actually is in conversations with people at Microsoft. She's been coding since she was 8 years of age. She can hack almost anything, be careful. She wants to be a video game developer who will create trans and gender diverse characters of color. That is her mission in this world. She wants more kids to see that they are people too. But this wasn't always easy for us. A year after that photo was taken, preschool was wonderful, by the way. But a year after that photo was taken, she was set and destined to start kindergarten in our public school system. However, Delaware did not have gender identity covered under the anti-discrimination bill we have here. That didn't happen until 2013. And she was denied access to public education for fear that she would be a threat to the other 5-year-olds. My husband and I had to make a very difficult choice. And I quit my job. I'm a legacy MBNA, by the way. I had to quit my job, at the time, Bank of America, to homeschool Not only my daughter, but I pulled my son out too. Because I believed if I couldn't trust the school to treat my child with respect and dignity, I certainly wasn't going to expect them to do the same for my son. And we dropped so far below the poverty level, we had to live in places that I wouldn't recommend. We didn't have food at times. My kids never knew, of course. And that was really, really hard. She asked me, "Do you blame me for this?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. You did not cause this. Bigotry caused this." Luckily, I am able to educate my children, but it's something I should not have had to do. I value my teachers, and I wanted that same experience for my own children. And even to this day, she is still homeschooled, but she is destined to go to high school next year. And her biggest fear is, I hope people like me. And my biggest fear is, I hope she can go to the bathroom. My daughter has never stepped in a men's bathroom before, and I certainly don't think she should go into a men's bathroom. I mean, unless the line's long. I mean, I get it. I get it. I'm there with her. But that's not my only fears. As much as I love her, and I'm going to try not to cry, as much as I love her and the support she has from everyone in her family, because she is a Black trans female, I could still lose her before she is 35 years of age. Can you imagine? I was asked, happy little girl or dead little boy? I obviously wanted to choose her, but I could still lose her. And there is a huge discrepancy. When people started finding out how much I accepted my daughter, I got various reactions. I really was told that maybe I wasn't Black enough. Maybe I was conditioned by whiteness to accept my child. I explained to them I was conditioned and raised by an amazing mother who taught me the value of respect. And I respect my daughter. I love her. She's my heart. We have done a lot. I have done a lot because I never wanted another family to experience what I experienced. The fears will always be there. I mean, we fear for our children every day, and I have 4 of them. My fears are a little higher with her. I'm afraid to send her outside. We are public figures. People know our face. People know who she is and that she is trans. And I have asked her, do you hate me for putting us out there? And she's like, I would hate that you would hide me. So I can't hide her. She's amazing. She made me a mother, but she made me a human being. We have done a lot for Delaware, as mentioned. Because being in poverty, you require assistance. We had Medicaid. And somewhere in my head, I just assumed that her body would do what it was supposed to do. But then I was like, oh, wait, no, science. And it wasn't doing what it was going to do. We ended up sending in the report, her doctor, he's amazing, Dr. Doyle at AI DuPont, amazing human being, for Lupron, which is a blocker that halts puberty. It is reversible, but it gives children time to really understand who they are, what they want to be. For her, she already knew. And we wanted to halt puberty as quickly as possible. And Medicaid said no. In fact, they said no 5 times. And so then the accidental advocate / really scary mama bear came out, and I wrote a very lovely letter about how denying my child was in violation of the Affordable Care Act, Section 1557. No insurer is allowed to discriminate based on gender identity, or then you can have a lawsuit. And I sent it to the insurance commissioner, the Secretary of Health and Social Services, and the Director of Medicaid, oh, and the governor. Needless to say, 8 months later, my daughter became the first transgender minor to get Medicaid to cover transition, and they had to change their entire policy. Listening with my heart has saved her life and has saved many children. Our community can do better to ensure that not another Black trans woman is taken from her family. My job now, NCTE, is to reach out to families, and I have reached out to mothers who have had their daughters taken. This year, we broke the record from last year. Why are we doing that? We're arguing about where she can go to the bathroom when we should ensure that every human being, regardless of their gender identity, race, socioeconomics, can flourish and live happy, or as happy as taxes will let you. Because when you hurt one of us, you end up hurting all of us. Excluding her excludes her family, her friends, the people she could touch. She's not here, and yet she's touching people and changing their minds and helping them be better. Because just imagine at 4 years old, she knew who she was. I am 35, I think, and I am still trying to find out who I am. So, listen with your hearts. And if for any reason you ever want to talk to me, I'm on Facebook, I am. But thank you for having me and my lovely daughter.